Welcome to this NFL Nexus Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into the Aaron Donald dilemma. We are going to look at exactly why a legend's return, the ultimate fan dream, could actually absolutely ruin the Los Angeles Rams.
Everything in the NFL can change in a matter of seconds, literally seconds. A single silent workout clip hits your timeline, and suddenly the entire landscape of the league feels this massive tectonic shift. The Los Angeles Rams are marching into training camp right now. They have a meticulously crafted plan. They have spent months building a brand new identity. But suddenly, a familiar, massive shadow is looming right back over their defense. Aaron Donald. Just saying the name strikes fear into the hearts of offensive coordinators across the league. But what happens when the return of your greatest hero is actually the very thing that could completely unravel your future? I mean, think about it. It is the ultimate fan fantasy, right? The prodigal son returns for one last ride into the sunset. One more ring, one more parade down Figueroa Street. But we have to stop and ask the genuinely hard question here. Is returning a massive mistake? Because we have to look past the nostalgia. We have to look at the cold, calculating reality of an NFL franchise just trying to survive in a salary-capped, hyper-competitive, youth-driven league. The ultimate fan fantasy might actually be a franchise-destroying trap. Look, when you build an ecosystem specifically designed to function without an apex predator, dropping that predator back into the enclosure doesn't just change the dynamic, it completely shatters it. And that is the terrifying tightrope the Rams are walking right this very second.
So, it all started with a viral frenzy. Just a few seconds of footage. Aaron Donald, working out at the Rams practice facility. No pads, no official announcement, no press conference. Just a man, the iron, and unrelenting intensity. But in the modern NFL, that is literally all it takes to light a match in a room full of gasoline. Social media didn't just react to this, it erupted. It was an absolute frenzy. Rumors of a potential NFL comeback for the legendary defensive tackle didn't just start circulating, they reached a fever pitch in a matter of minutes. Every single sports show, every analyst, every fan account instantly pivoted to one inescapable narrative. Number 99 is coming back. The speculation caught fire so fast, burning through the quiet offseason lull and forcing the entire league to immediately go on high alert.
And those comeback whispers, they quickly became a deafening roar. You have the viral workout video setting the stage, you have social media erupting, creating this massive, unavoidable wave of momentum. And then you get to the critical moment. Head coach Sean McVay is placed in front of a microphone and he is forced to field direct questions about this possibility. And what does he do? He leaves the door slightly cracked. He doesn't slam it shut. He doesn't definitively step up and say, "Aaron is retired, guys. We are moving on." No, he leaves a sliver of light shining through. And in the National Football League, a cracked door is basically an open invitation for total chaos. McVay's hesitation to close the book on Donald creates a massive, incredibly complicated shadow over his current roster. Think about it from the player's perspective. Every young defensive lineman in that locker room now has to look over their shoulder, wondering if their starting job is just a placeholder for a ghost. It fundamentally alters the psychology of a team that is just trying to forge its own path.
And just as this hype train is reaching maximum velocity, we hit a brick wall, a perspective that completely disrupts the nostalgic excitement, a bombshell take that forces everyone to just stop, take a breath, and look at the terrifying reality of the situation. Because believe it or not everyone thinks a reunion is the best move for this franchise. Actually, some people believe it is the exact opposite.
I want you to listen closely to this quote. I can't explain it, it's just a gut feeling I have. Adding Aaron Donald is a bad idea. Just let that sink in for a second. Those are the specific words of sports analyst Nick Wright, who recently revealed his team tiers heading into the new season and dropped this absolutely sobering reality check. A bad idea. Calling the return of a generational, unstoppable talent a bad idea sounds like utter madness on the surface, right? But Wright isn't talking about Donald's physical ability to shed blocks or terrorize quarterbacks. He knows Donald can still play. He's talking about the microscopic, delicate, and highly volatile chemistry of an NFL locker room and front office. He is tapping into a very real, very dangerous undercurrent that pretty much no one else in the media wants to acknowledge, simply because they are too blinded by the undeniable star power of a surefire Hall of Famer.
Now, to really understand this, we have to pivot away from that emotional nostalgia and look at the cold, hard logistics of an NFL front office. Because there's a golden rule here. You cannot pay for past performance in the NFL. You only pay for future output. And bringing Aaron Donald back isn't just handing him a jersey and a helmet, giving him a pat on the back, and pointing him toward the tunnel. It requires moving literal mountains of money. The financial reality is the first massive, hidden trapdoor in this entire scenario. It's the silent killer of championship windows, and it is staring the Los Angeles Rams right in the face.
$30 million. This isn't some veteran minimum contract just for the love of the game. This isn't a hometown discount to chase one final ring. Whispers around the league point to a looming $30 million financial dilemma surrounding a potential new contract for the legendary defensive tackle. To truly understand the sheer gravity of this massive financial hurdle, you have to look deeply into the smallest details of how the NFL salary cap actually works. $30 million means you're instantly forced to restructure the contracts of your other star players. You are strategically, but very dangerously, pushing dead money into future years. It means you are absolutely forced to cut valuable depth pieces. We're talking about the unsung heroes on special teams, the swing tackles who save drives when a starter goes down, the rotational edge rushers who keep the defense fresh late in the fourth quarter. You have to cut them all, just to legally clear the cap space. You are essentially mortgaging the structural integrity of your entire 53-man roster to accommodate exactly one man. That is a massive, high-stakes gamble that threatens to completely bankrupt the Rams' future flexibility for years to come.
But the money? The money is only half the battle here. We have to look at the second and perhaps way more dangerous, hidden cost of bringing Donald back to Los Angeles. And that is the trench identity. See, the Rams have spent the entirety of this offseason painstakingly building a younger, revamped identity on the defensive line. They've spent premium draft capital for it. They've meticulously schemed for it in the war room. They have literally bled for it in the sweltering heat of training camp. This new unit is learning to communicate seamlessly. They are learning to hunt as a synchronized pack. They are relying on strict gap discipline and collective pressure rather than just relying on a singular apex predator to magically make every single disruptive play.
This dynamic presents an agonizing crossroads for the franchise. On one side, you have reinserting a legend. On the other, developing rising stars. And the incredibly painful reality is that you cannot have both. You simply cannot cling to past glory while simultaneously trusting a new, revamped youth identity. It's like oil and water. Think about the mechanics of the game. When Aaron Donald is on the football field, the entire defensive playbook naturally orbits around his gravitational pull. Every stunt, every blitz package, every complex coverage rotation behind the line is fundamentally predicated on the absolute fact that number 99 is going to command a double team or even a triple team and completely wreck the offensive line's blocking scheme. But these young players have spent months sweating and learning a fundamentally different system, a system where they are the focal points. If you bring Donald back right now, you are effectively telling those young rising stars to step back into the shadows. You are stunting their growth in real time, right at the exact moment when they need the spotlight the most.
So the absolutely crucial point here is breaking down exactly how this happens step by step. Let's look at the true cost of a comeback. Step 1. Disrupting current defensive chemistry. Elite defensive line play is all about unspoken communication. It is knowing exactly when the man next to you is going to cross your face on a stunt without even having to look. Reinserting a massive, undeniable focal point like Donald throws a giant wrench into that carefully calibrated machine. Step 2. Stalling the developmental timeline of rising stars. Look, repetitions are the absolute currency of greatness in the NFL. Every single practice rep, every single live game snap that Donald takes is a critical snap permanently taken away from a young player who desperately needs that trial-by-fire experience to become the future anchor of the franchise. And Step 3. Forcing a new identity to take a back seat. The Rams are actively trying to evolve. Forcing Donald back into the mix is a stark regression to a previous version of the team. A version that, frankly, doesn't even exist anymore because the entire supporting cast has changed. It threatens to completely unravel all the fragile progress the young trench warriors have built this entire offseason.
Yet, despite everything we have just meticulously discussed, despite the looming financial ruin, despite the severely stunted development, despite the completely disrupted locker room chemistry, turning away Aaron Donald feels absolutely absurd on the surface, doesn't it? I mean, why? Because of the sheer scale of the problem. Because of the incredible weight of a legacy that is quite literally unmatched in modern professional football history. It is a legacy that commands total reverence from everyone in the building.
Just look at these staggering numbers, a decade of absolute dominance. 3-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year, 111 career sacks strictly from the interior defensive line, a statistic that honestly utterly defies the logic of the sport, 176 tackles for loss, 24 forced fumbles. And here's the truly terrifying part for opposing quarterbacks. Even in his final stretch of games, his quarterback pressure rate remained completely elite. He commanded constant, exhausting double teams right up until the exact second he decided to walk away. We aren't framing these legendary statistics just as a resume. No, this is an intimidating, almost impossible shadow that the new Rams defense has to live up to every single day. This is the ghost that haunts the film room on Tuesday mornings. When a young player misses a crucial tackle for a loss in the backfield, the silent thought echoing in everyone's head is always going to be, Aaron would have made that play.
Which leads us to the most agonizing dilemma any defensive coordinator, any general manager, or any head coach could ever face. How do you turn away from the unstoppable? Normally, any defensive coordinator in their right mind would sacrifice their left arm to plug that level of elite, game-wrecking production back into the starting lineup. It defies every single competitive instinct deeply ingrained in a coach's DNA to look at a surefire first-ballot Hall of Famer who clearly still has gas in the tank and genuinely say, no thank you. It is an absolute psychological torture chamber for Sean McVay. But here is the thing. To survive and thrive in the National Football League, you have to make the impossible choices. You have to kill your darlings to protect the future of your team.
And that brings us to the harsh, sobering reality of this entire saga. Sometimes, fully turning the page is better than trying to force another chapter. The book on Aaron Donald's legendary, mythic career with the Los Angeles Rams has already been written, and it is an absolute masterpiece from cover to cover. Trying to scribble a messy epilogue in the margins right now will only ruin the binding of the entire franchise. The Los Angeles Rams must leave the glorious past behind to survive the brutal reality of the future. They have to absolutely trust the young trench warriors they have scouted and drafted. They have to trust the new system they've installed. They have to walk away from the intoxicating, overwhelming allure of nostalgia, no matter how much it hurts in the moment.
Because the NFL is a ruthless, unforgiving business, and hesitation is the enemy of progress. The Rams are standing dead center at a crossroads right now, and their next move, whether they hold the line or succumb to the whispers, will definitively shape the next 5 years of this franchise. Now, I want to hear from you. Are the Rams making a massive mistake by leaving the door cracked, or is Nick Wright completely wrong about his gut feeling? Let me know your detailed thoughts down below in the comments. And if you want to keep diving deep into the microscopic details and the cinematic realities of the league with us, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Like this explainer to support these intense breakdowns, comment on what you thought, and if you are a hardcore fan who wants even more exclusive access, hit that join button and support the channel by becoming a channel member of NFL Nexus right now. We will see you in the trenches next time.